Chosen ones, don't ignore this one. God is speaking clearly, and when He speaks like this, it means something in your life is shifting right now. Not tomorrow, not next month, now. And if your spirit is already responding, pause for 1 second. Hit that like button to stay aligned with this moment, and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls who are walking this same path of awakening. And before we go any further, type 7 in the comments to anchor yourself in this message. Let heaven see your agreement. You may not realize it yet, but you're standing in a moment that marks the beginning of a new chapter, not a gentle shift, not a slow transition. A break. A clean cut from what you used to be and what God is placing over your life right now. And the reason you're hearing this is because God is calling you to attention. He needs your focus. He needs your spirit awake. He needs you listening. There are times when God whispers, and there are times when God shakes the ground beneath your feet because the whisper wasn't enough. This message, this moment, is one of those times. Something in your life has reached a point where God refuses to let you walk blind any longer. You've outgrown the version of yourself you've been carrying. And now God is stepping in with a voice that cannot be ignored. Chosen one, you've been sensing it. That quiet tug in your chest. That strange pressure that keeps returning. That awareness that something around you doesn't feel the same anymore. You may not have the words for it yet, but your spirit knows. You're shifting. Your life is shifting. And the world around you is starting to react to your glow, your purpose, your calling. Before we go deeper, type 7 again in the comments. Not out of habit, but because the alignment matters. It keeps your heart open. It keeps your faith standing. Listen closely. God is telling you this. You're not walking alone, and I'm not done with you. For so long, you've had to rely on your own strength. You've pushed when you were tired. You stood when you were drained. You kept going when everything in you wanted to stop, and heaven has watched every moment of it. But now the season is changing. God is stepping in. You're entering a moment where His voice will break through the noise that once drowned you out. You're entering a moment where clarity replaces confusion, where direction replaces doubt, where purpose replaces the heaviness you've been carrying for far too long. Chosen one, God is speaking directly into the parts of you that felt ignored, unseen, forgotten, and He's saying, I never left you. I've been shaping you. Because the truth is this, what you walked through didn't break you. It refined you. Your heartbreak didn't destroy you. It softened your spirit. Your setbacks didn't stop you. They strengthened you. Every closed door pushed you deeper into your assignment. Every delay protected you from a path you weren't meant to walk. You think you've been wandering, but you've actually been guided. You think you've been alone, but you've actually been covered. You think you've been overlooked, but you've actually been hidden on purpose for a moment such as this. And now God is saying, step forward, you're ready. Feel that for a moment. Let it settle into your chest. You're ready. Not almost ready, not halfway ready. Ready. You survived what was meant to break you. You walked through nights that would have shattered anyone else. You endured storms that would have pushed others to the edge. And even when you didn't see the purpose, heaven saw the strength. Heaven saw the resilience. Heaven saw the faith in you that refused to die. Hit like right now if this is speaking to you. Some messages aren't just heard, they're recognized. This is one of them. Chosen one, God is speaking clearly because the next season of your life cannot be approached with the same mindset you had in the last one. There is a rise happening inside you, a clarity waking up in your bones, a focus you haven't felt in years. That's not random. That's not coincidence. That's God pulling you into a higher level of awareness. You're starting to see through people. You're starting to feel energies you once ignored. You're noticing shifts in your relationships, your desires, your priorities. What used to attract you no longer moves you. What used to drain you no longer interests you. What used to intimidate you no longer has power over you. This is spiritual maturity. This is divine alignment. This is God clearing the path in front of you. Type 777. Again, if you can feel that shift in your own life, there's something else God needs you to hear. Something He's been waiting for you to acknowledge. Something your spirit has been whispering, but your mind kept pushing aside. You're not the same person you were a year ago, or even 3 months ago. You've stretched, you've healed, you've awakened. You've outgrown rooms that once felt comfortable. You've outgrown people who once felt familiar. You've outgrown patterns you used to repeat without thinking. Growth is uncomfortable, but it's also undeniable. And the moment you stop trying to shrink to fit the world you've already surpassed is the moment everything opens. Don't ignore this part. God is removing things you've been holding on to, not to punish you, but to free you. Some connections have ended because they would have limited your ascent. Some opportunities didn't work out because they weren't aligned with your true assignment. Some environments felt heavy because your spirit was no longer meant to stay there. And now, God is speaking clearly. I'm calling you higher. Stop fearing the elevation. Walk with me. Chosen one. This is where your journey shifts. Not in chaos, not in confusion, in clarity. And to keep this message reaching the people who need it, subscribe now to join thousands of chosen one souls moving through this same awakening. Take a breath. Feel the weight lifting. Feel the noise quieting. Feel the peace settling into the spaces that used to ache. God is not warning you. He's awakening you, and we're only getting started. Chosen one, stay right here. Don't move your spirit away from this moment, because what comes next is heavier, clearer, and even closer to what God has been trying to get you to hear. And before we continue, type Puro 777. Again in the comments to stay aligned with this flow. You're not doing it for the video. You're doing it to keep your spirit open. Listen, God is not speaking to your mind right now. He's speaking to your discernment, that deep inner place where truth hits before you can explain it. And right now, God needs you to understand something. You have stepped into a new spiritual frequency, and not everyone around you can follow. You've probably noticed it already. Some people who were once comfortable around you suddenly feel uneasy. Conversations feel different. The energy shifts when you walk into a room. Things that once felt normal now feel heavy, off or out of sync. This is not a coincidence. This is spiritual separation. God isn't removing people to hurt you. He's removing them to protect the version of you He's building. And this is where many chosen ones get confused, because the separation doesn't always come with explanations. Sometimes people drift. Sometimes they act strange. Sometimes they distance themselves without a clear reason, and you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? But you didn't do anything wrong. Your spirit simply outgrew what their spirit could handle. Chosen one, type 77. If that hits you, you've been elevating quietly, on the inside, in your mindset, in your awareness. The way you think has changed. The way you feel has changed. The way you react has changed. Without even realizing it, you've stopped matching energies that used to pull you down. You've stopped chasing approval you never needed. You've stopped explaining your calling to people who weren't meant to understand it. And here's the truth God needs you to grasp. Your growth makes some people uncomfortable because it forces them to face what they haven't changed. When you rise, their excuses fall apart. When you heal, their wounds get exposed. When you walk in clarity, their confusion feels louder. When you step into purpose, their stagnation becomes obvious. This is why you felt that distance. This is why God pulled certain relationships away. This is why you're starting to feel different, even in familiar places. God is saying, I'm setting you apart because your assignment is different. Chosen one, you were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to think like them, settle like them, or shrink like them. And the moment you stopped dimming your light to keep others comfortable, the separation began. Not because you changed too much, but because they didn't change at all. But here's where God's message becomes even clearer. You are entering a season where silence will speak louder than words. There are things God is showing you that you cannot discuss. There are moves He's preparing that you cannot announce. There are blessings forming in the background that you cannot expose too early. God is saying, stay quiet, stay focused. I'm doing something in private that will reveal itself in power. Hit that like button if you feel the truth of that settling in your chest. You've been wondering why you don't feel the desire to overshare anymore. Why you don't feel the urge to explain your decisions to anybody. Why certain dreams feel too fragile to talk about right now. It's because God has placed you in a spiritual cocoon, a season of internal building, internal strengthening, internal preparation. Caterpillars don't announce their transformation. Seeds don't announce their growth underground. Bamboo doesn't announce its roots stretching deeper and deeper. But when the moment comes, the world sees the result. Chosen one, that's where you are right now. The hidden stage before the breakthrough. And God needs you to understand this so you stop doubting yourself. So you stop feeling guilty for pulling back. So you stop apologizing for the distance you're creating. So you stop forcing what He's already dismantling. Because what's coming next requires a clearer mind, a stronger spirit, a sharper discernment, and a quieter circle. Type 7. Again, if you know God is shifting you into something purer, something stronger, something unmistakably divine, there's something else happening too, something deep. Your sensitivity has increased. Not emotional sensitivity, spiritual sensitivity. You're picking up on energies faster. You can feel when someone is not being honest, even if their words sound right. You can sense hidden intentions. You detect shifts in tone, silence, body language, atmosphere. And sometimes it feels overwhelming, like your spirit is too open. But God is saying, this is not a burden. This is a gift. I'm sharpening your discernment for your next level. You aren't paranoid, you're discerning. You aren't overreacting, you're perceiving. You aren't imagining things, you're seeing spiritually. You aren't distancing yourself randomly. You're obeying spiritual instinct. This is why certain people no longer have access to you. This is why God pulled your energy back. This is why conversations feel different. This is why your heart stops settling for what your spirit rejected. You're being upgraded, spiritually upgraded. Chosen one, listen closely. When God increases your discernment, He also reduces your distractions. He clears your environment. He tightens your circle. He protects your mind. He elevates your awareness because He's preparing you for something that cannot be approached blindly. And we're only getting deeper from here. Before you scroll, hit like to keep this message flowing and subscribe to join thousands of Chosen One souls rising with you. Chosen One, breathe for a moment. Let your shoulders drop. Let your spirit settle. Because what God is about to reveal in this part goes deeper than anything you've felt so far. And before we continue, type 777 one more time to anchor yourself in alignment. Stay open. Stay aware. Listen carefully. There are moments in your life when God doesn't just guide you. He interrupts you. He steps into your path with a force that makes you stop, look around, and question everything you thought you understood. This is one of those moments. You're not just transitioning. You're not just shifting. You're not just growing. You're being repositioned, not adjusted, not slightly redirected. Repositioned. meaning God is moving you away from what seemed good enough, what felt familiar, what once comforted your weaker self, and into the territory your future self was designed to stand in. And that move, it feels uncomfortable, it feels unfamiliar, it feels like pressure. But that pressure is not punishment, it's placement. Chosen one, type 777. If your spirit feels that truth, you've been wondering why you suddenly feel detached from things you once wanted so badly, why you don't feel excited about what you used to chase, why old desires no longer have a grip on you, why certain goals don't feel like you anymore. Here's why. God is stripping away everything that belonged to the old version of you. The version you outgrew, the version that settled, the version that survived instead of lived, the version that tolerated what your spirit never agreed to. And you feel the stripping, you feel the pulling, you feel the emptying, but you haven't fully understood it yet. So hear this clearly. You're not losing anything. You are being emptied so God can finally fill you correctly. Your old identity was too small, your old habits were too limiting, your old perspective was too narrow, your old circle was too restricted. And the life God is preparing for you requires a version of you that is freer, lighter, sharper, and spiritually expanded. This is why nothing fits anymore. Not the conversations, not the routines, not the environments, not even the way you used to think, because God is reshaping the container of your life. Chosen one, listen. You've been praying for clarity, but clarity requires space. You've been praying for purpose, but purpose requires surrender. You've been praying for elevation, but elevation requires separation. And now God is saying, I am removing what can't rise with you. Hit like right now if your soul felt that. See, everyone asks for growth, but almost no one asks for the emptying that must come first. Growth is not addition. Growth is replacement, and God is replacing. The old confidence you lost with a deeper, unshakable one. The old strength you burned out with a spiritual strength that doesn't break. The old intuition you doubted with discernment, sharp enough to cut through deception. The old brokenness you carried with peace that doesn't crack under pressure. This is why you felt in between. Not where you were, but not yet where you're going. Not the old you, but not yet the full new you. Detached, but not directionless. Calm, but not complacent. It's the hallway between two seasons, the spiritual corridor where God walks closest. And here's what he wants you to understand next. Your spirit has already stepped into the new season before your physical life catches up. That's why you feel ahead of yourself. That's why your dreams feel stronger. That's why your intuition feels louder. That's why your patience for nonsense is lower than it has ever been. Your soul has moved. Now your life is adjusting. Chosen one, type 777. Again, if you feel that shift inside you. But there's something else happening, something deeper. You've been sensing a pull toward isolation, not loneliness, isolation. The kind that feels intentional, sacred, protective, predetermined. And God is saying, I needed you by yourself so I could speak without interference. You weren't being abandoned, you were being separated. You weren't being forgotten, you were being insulated. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. Because the truth is this, the voice of God becomes clearest when the noise of people becomes quietest. And lately, God has been clearing out noise. Noise in your mind, noise in your connections, noise in your environment, noise in your emotions. He's been tuning your spirit like an instrument into a frequency where you can finally hear him without distortion. Chosen one, listen closely. Your spirit is ahead of your life because God needs your awareness to be ready before the blessing arrives. What's coming requires emotional stability. What's coming requires spiritual maturity. What's coming requires clarity. What's coming requires discipline. What's coming requires discernment. You're being prepared for something big, something that requires a version of you that can handle it. This is not preparation for an ordinary season. This is preparation for alignment, elevation, and revelation. Before we go deeper, hit like to keep this message reaching more chosen ones, and subscribe to join thousands of awakened souls walking this same path. Chosen one, stay right here. Don't rush this part. Part 4 carries a weight your spirit has been waiting for, and if you're still here, it's because something in you recognizes this message is not random. It's alignment. Before we go deeper, type 77 in the comments again. It keeps your spirit open and shifts your focus into receiving mode. Now listen closely. Up to this point, God has been preparing you, separating you, stripping away what no longer matches your frequency. But now, something new is unfolding. Something most people miss because they mistake it for pressure, for fatigue, for emotional imbalance. But you're not off. You're not drained. You're not disconnected. You're being spiritually rewired. That tired feeling you've been carrying, it's not weakness, it's recalibration. That urge to withdraw from certain people, it's not moodiness, it's protection. That sudden loss of interest in things you once loved, it's not apathy, it's redirection. And that strange surge of awareness that keeps visiting you throughout the day, it's not anxiety, it's activation. Chosen one, type 777 if you feel this happening inside you. What you're experiencing is the restructuring of your spirit. God is moving things around internally. He's upgrading the way you hear, the way you sense, the way you interpret, the way you perceive. And this is why nothing feels normal, because you are no longer normal. You're shifting from emotional instincts to spiritual instincts, from reacting to discerning, from overthinking to knowing, from explaining to simply understanding. This is divine intelligence awakening inside you. But here's the part God needs you to recognize. Your spirit is learning to pick up what your physical senses no longer can. You're starting to feel the truth before you see it. You're sensing intentions before words reveal them. You're detecting danger before it surfaces. You're recognizing divine timing without forcing plans. And this new level of awareness is not a coincidence. It's an assignment. God is saying, I'm sharpening your inner ear so you won't miss what I'm sending next. Because what's coming into your life won't be announced with flashing lights. It won't come with warnings. It won't come with detailed instructions. It will come silently, subtly, spiritually. And you must be tuned in enough to notice it. Hit like right now if this is landing exactly where it needs to. Chosen one, there is a reason your sensitivity has increased. A reason your dreams have become more vivid. A reason you're noticing patterns you used to ignore. A reason small shifts feel huge. A reason people's energy hits you faster and deeper than before. This is your spirit stepping out of survival mode and into spiritual mastery. When you were still wounded, you reacted emotionally. When you were still lost, you reacted impulsively. When you were still afraid, you reacted defensively. But now your spirit is awake. Now your eyes are open. Now your intuition is active. Now your purpose is stirring. And God is whispering to you through every shift, every sign, every silence. But there's more. Something most chosen ones only understand after the transformation begins. The enemy senses your awakening before you do. This is why you felt sudden resistance. This is why strange opposition has surfaced. This is why old temptations have tried to reappear. This is why certain people's behavior changed abruptly, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're getting close to something right. Whenever a chosen one reaches a new level of spiritual clarity, darkness senses the elevation and tries to pull them back into confusion. But the reason those tactics aren't working on you anymore is because you've outgrown every trap that used to hold you. You no longer fall for distractions. You no longer shrink to fit anyone's comfort. You no longer dim your awareness to protect others' insecurities. You no longer abandon yourself to be accepted. Your spirit has become too strong. Your mind has become too steady. Your discernment has become too loud. Chosen one, type 77 again if you know you've crossed a line spiritually that you can't go back from. And this leads us to something even deeper, something God has been waiting for the right moment to tell you. You have reached a level where your presence alone shifts atmospheres. People feel you before they hear you. Rooms shift when you enter. Hidden intentions surface around you. Truth reveals itself near you. Light exposes what was once concealed. This is why certain people react strangely around you now. Not because you've changed something on the outside, but because your spirit has become too bright for their shadows. Listen carefully. The more God reveals to you, the more He will require from you. And this is why He has pulled you into this season of stillness, clarity, and separation. Not to isolate you, but to elevate you. Before we go deeper, I need you to hit like so this message continues its assignment, and subscribe to join thousands of awakened chosen ones rising with you. Chosen one. Part 5 is where everything begins to make sense. If you've made it this far, it's because your spirit is strong enough to hear what most people are not ready to face. And before we go any deeper, type 757 in the comments. Not out of routine, but to mark this moment as a spiritual agreement. Stay open, stay steady. Now listen. Up until now, God has been shifting your awareness, sharpening your discernment, elevating your intuition, and separating you from what can't follow you. But now He needs you to understand why. Why the pruning? Why the isolation? Why the pressure? Why the sudden spiritual upgrades? Why your life has been shaking at its foundations? And the answer is simple, but powerful. Because you are stepping into your calling, the real one, the one you were born for. Not the version you imagined, not the version others projected onto you, not the version built from survival, but the version built from divine purpose. Chosen one, type 777 if your soul just lit up. You have a calling that is too heavy for the old you, too big for the old mindset, too sacred for the old circle, too powerful for an unprepared spirit. That's why God stripped you. That's why He separated you. That's why He isolated you. That's why He allowed certain things to collapse. That's why He allowed certain people to walk away. That's why He allowed disappointment to carve space inside you. Because a chosen one cannot walk into divine purpose carrying dead weight. Listen carefully now. Your calling is not about what you do, it's about who you are becoming. Your assignment is tied to your identity. Your breakthrough is tied to your growth. Your purpose is tied to your spiritual maturity. Your elevation is tied to your surrender. You've been asking, God, what is my purpose? What am I meant to do? But God has been answering you in a different way. I'm shaping you into someone who can handle what I'm giving you. Hit like right now if you can feel that truth settling in your chest. Chosen one. The reason your life felt like it was falling apart is because God was tearing down the foundation built on fear, people-pleasing, confusion, and emotional wounds. And now He's building a new foundation inside you. One rooted in clarity, strength, confidence, and spiritual wisdom. This is why you're not as reactive as you used to be. This is why you're calmer in situations that once drained you. This is why your boundaries have become stronger. This is why your priorities have shifted so drastically. This is why you suddenly value peace over attention. This is why you've become uninterested in anything that wastes your energy. Your calling requires emotional discipline. Your calling requires spiritual courage. Your calling requires clarity. Your calling requires the ability to walk alone without breaking. And God has been shaping all of that inside you. Chosen one, you're entering the stage where your purpose stops whispering and starts becoming clear. You'll begin to notice ideas dropping into your spirit out of nowhere, random moments of inspiration that feel supernatural, a pull towards certain paths, gifts, and roles. An inner voice guiding you with more accuracy than you've ever felt. Synchronicities showing up in your daily life, doors opening that you didn't even knock on. These are not coincidences. They are divine cues. God is saying, I'm activating what I placed inside you before you were even born. Chosen ones always carry something heavy inside them. A spiritual gift, a mission, a reason for being here. And for years, perhaps even decades, you felt it but couldn't explain it. You sensed you were different but didn't know why. You felt out of place, misunderstood, overly sensitive, too aware, too deep. But now, the clarity is coming. Now the pieces are aligning. Now the calling is rising to the surface. Type 7 and 27 if you feel that rising happening inside you. But listen, here's the deeper truth. Your calling is going to pull you away from the version of life you once wished for. Because God is not giving you the life you wanted. He's giving you the life you were made for. And that life requires a higher mindset, a stronger spirit, a sharper intuition, a cleaner environment, a quieter circle, and a deeper obedience. This is why certain situations suddenly feel too small. This is why certain dreams no longer feel aligned. This is why your spirit can no longer tolerate low vibration interactions. This is why mediocrity makes you uncomfortable. This is why your old life feels like a cage now, because your calling is pulling you out, and God is whispering, I am elevating you to places where old versions of you cannot go. Hit like if that hits your spirit exactly where it needs to. Chosen one, what you're stepping into is sacred. It's specific, it's intentional, it's divinely timed, and the enemy senses it too. That's why you felt resistance intensify. That's why old temptations tried returning. That's why certain people resurfaced when you started healing. That's why random distractions came out of nowhere. That's why spiritual attacks felt stronger recently. It's not because you're weak, it's because you're close. When a chosen one gets near their calling, darkness gets desperate. But hear this, they can't stop what God has already established. Your elevation is written, your purpose is protected, your path is prepared. All you have to do is follow the voice that's been speaking to you so clearly in this season. Before we move on, hit like to keep this message reaching the souls it's meant for, and subscribe to join thousands of Chosen One souls rising with you. Chosen One, Part 6 is not light. It carries weight, it carries responsibility, it carries revelation. And if you're still here, it's because your spirit is mature enough to handle what most people will never understand about themselves. Before we go deeper, type 777 in the comments. This isn't superstition, it's alignment. It tells your spirit, I'm ready for the next layer. Now listen very closely. Up until now, you've been learning about your calling. But a calling is only the beginning. A calling is the invitation. A calling is the awakening. A calling is the activation. But now you are stepping into something even deeper, your assignment. Your calling is about who you are. Your assignment is about what you are meant to do. These two are connected but not identical. Your calling is internal. Your assignment is external. Your calling is your identity. Your assignment is your impact. And God is revealing this now because your assignment is beginning to unfold. Not in the future, not months from now, but now. Chosen One, type 777. If you can feel that truth pressing against your spirit, here's what God wants you to understand. Your assignment is already in motion, even if you don't fully see it yet, even if you don't feel ready, even if you don't think you have the resources, even if you don't realize what's happening. Assignments never begin with clarity. They begin with stirring. That stirring you've been feeling lately, that urgency in your chest, that strange push to grow, to learn, to change, to separate, to elevate. That sense that something is opening inside you. That's your assignment tapping your spirit, saying, it's time. Chosen one, hear this with your whole soul. Your assignment is not random. It is not a hobby. It is not a phase. It is not a coincidence. It is not a passing season. It is the blueprint God placed inside you long before you were born. You've always felt it, that pull towards something bigger, that sense that your life was meant to have meaning, that intuition that you were created for more than routine survival, that unexplainable depth in your nature, that sensitivity that made you different, that insight others didn't have, that heaviness in your spirit whenever you tried to settle. This is why nothing average ever satisfied you. This is why your heart always knew there was another level. This is why mediocrity made you restless. This is why the wrong environments drained you instantly. This is why your spirit protected your purpose, even when your mind didn't understand. Because deep inside, your assignment was calling you. Hit like right now if that resonates with your entire being. Now pay attention. Your assignment is connected to your pain, not the pain others saw, the pain you carried silently, the pain that shaped you, the pain that matured you, the pain that made you see life differently, the pain that awakened compassion, depth, intuition, and wisdom inside you. Your assignment grows from the soil of what you survived. Your wounds became your wisdom. Your struggle became your strength. Your heartbreak became your discernment. Your isolation became your clarity. Your suffering became your authority. This is why the enemy attacked you so hard. Not because of who you were, but because of who you were destined to become through the pain. Chosen one. Type 777 if you understand that now. Your assignment is also connected to your gifts. Not your talents, not your skills, not what people praise you for, but your gifts. The things that flow through you naturally. Your ability to see the truth behind people's masks. Your ability to feel what others hide. Your ability to speak words that heal. Your ability to sense danger before it appears. Your ability to bring peace to chaotic situations. Your ability to lift others with your presence. Your ability to discern paths, motives, intentions, and spiritual energy. Your ability to endure storms that would break others. These gifts are not random. They are tools, weapons, instruments for your assignment. But here's the part most people never learn. Your assignment is also connected to what breaks your heart. What injustice sparks fire in your spirit? What suffering makes you angry? What patterns in people make you want to help? What truth do you wish the world understood? What pain do you recognize instantly in others? What problem were you born to solve? What healing do you naturally bring? Where your heart aches, your assignment exists. Where your spirit reacts, your purpose lives. And now God is saying, I've built you, I've trained you, I've separated you, I've awakened you. Now I will reveal why. But before he reveals it, he must confirm something first. Your assignment will require courage. Not the courage to fight. The courage to step into what you were always meant to be. The courage to be different. The courage to be chosen. The courage to be seen. The courage to be elevated. The courage to be obedient. The courage to walk paths others fear. The courage to let God take you where logic cannot follow. Chosen one, hit like right now if your heart feels this shift happening. Because the next part, part 7, will expose the exact barriers standing between you and your assignment. No ending, no summary. We continue forward with power. Chosen one. Part 8 is not gentle. It touches the part of you that's been silent the longest. The part that carries memory, pain, prophecy, and truth all at once. If your spirit feels a shift already, it's because this is the section meant to unlock something deep inside you. Now listen closely. You've been moving differently lately, not because you decided to, but because your spirit has crossed a threshold you didn't even realize you were approaching. This is where many chosen ones get confused. You think you're changing, but what's actually happening is this. Your soul is remembering who you were before the world wounded you. Your sensitivity is returning. Your intuition is resurfacing. Your spiritual authority is awakening. Your inner clarity is sharpening. Your true nature, the one God planted in you, is coming back online. And because of that, everything around you is reacting. Chosen one, hear this. You're not evolving into someone new. You're returning to someone true. The real you, the unfiltered you, the God-designed you, the spiritually equipped you. The version of you that was covered, buried, silenced, and dimmed by years of survival, pressure, trauma, and conditioning. This is why so much feels unfamiliar. This is why your spirit has been louder. This is why your dreams have been heavier. This is why your inner voice is no longer asking. It's declaring, because your authenticity is resurfacing, and authenticity always exposes what isn't real around it. Now, understand this. Next part. When your true self awakens, false connections fall apart, not because of drama, not because of conflict, not because of betrayal, but because truth and illusion cannot coexist in the same space. And now, God is showing you who is aligned with your old wounds, who was attached to your old identity, who was drawn to your old trauma, who was benefiting from your old self-doubt, who was comfortable with your old self-limitation. But as soon as the real you started rising, their spirit could no longer match your frequency. This is why the separation increased. This is why certain people suddenly pulled back. This is why certain relationships went quiet. This is why certain energies felt heavy around you. When you awaken, anything connected to the unhealed version of you is forced to choose. Elevate with you or exit from you. And most choose to exit, not because they're bad, but because they were only compatible with the version of you that played small. Now hear this clearly. Your awakening is exposing spiritual truths you weren't ready to see before. You're noticing intentions quickly. You're recognizing patterns instantly. You're seeing through manipulation effortlessly. You're detecting spirits behind people's behavior. You're feeling when someone is not for you before they speak a word. This isn't paranoia. This isn't overthinking. This isn't imagination. This is discernment, upgraded, activated, sharpened. And the deeper your discernment grows, the more God will reveal the hidden structures around you, who's masking jealousy as support, who's masking envy as silence, who's masking insecurity as distance, who's masking resentment as politeness, who's masking spiritual conflict as confusion. What once slipped past you can no longer hide. But here's the next revelation, and it hits hard. Your awakening also exposes you to yourself, your truth, your patterns, your triggers, your resistance, your avoidance, your wounds, your potential, your power. You're no longer able to pretend you don't feel what you feel. You're no longer able to lie to yourself about what drains you. You're no longer able to ignore what God is pulling you toward. You're no longer able to shrink into comfort zones that once kept you safe. Your soul wants expansion. Your spirit wants alignment. Your calling wants expression. Your assignment wants execution. And God is saying, I didn't awaken you just to show you the truth. I awakened you to become it. Let that settle for a moment. Because this is the turning point. You're no longer in the season of being prepared. You're in the season of being positioned. Everything that once defined you is fading. Everything that once limited you is dissolving. Everything that once silenced you is breaking. Everything that once held you back is losing its grip. You are stepping into a version of yourself that your past cannot recognize and your future has been waiting for. And Part 9 will reveal the exact identity shift God is activating in you, the shift that explains your entire awakening. No ending, no summary. We continue. Chosen One. Part 9 is where everything clicks, not in your mind, in your spirit. This is the section that explains why you feel like a new person inside an old life and why God is speaking to you so loudly in this season. Before we go deeper, type 777 in the comments. Not for luck, for alignment, for agreement, for anchoring. Now listen carefully. What you are experiencing right now is not personality change. It is not emotional fluctuation. It is not outgrowing people in a casual sense. What's happening is this. God is shifting your identity into its original form. The one you were created with, not the one the world forced onto you. This is why everything around you feels like it's rearranging itself. This is why your desires are changing. This is why your boundaries are stronger. This is why your energy has become selective. This is why your standards are rising without permission. This is why you no longer tolerate what once felt normal. Identity shifts are not comfortable. They stretch you. They break old patterns. They purge old versions. They confront every lie you once believed about yourself. You're not just leveling up. You are becoming someone your past never met. Chosen One, type 777. If this is hitting your spirit exactly where it needs to, here's the truth. God needs you to understand right now. Your identity has been under attack since childhood, not because you were weak, but because your true identity, if fully awakened, would expose darkness, disrupt patterns, heal others, and break generational strongholds. From the moment you came into this world, people tried to silence your voice. People tried to mold you into their expectations. People tried to shame your sensitivity. People tried to dim your awareness. People tried to stunt your confidence. People tried to twist your self-perception. People tried to convince you that your intuition was overthinking. But none of it worked, because what God placed inside you cannot be erased, only delayed. And now the delay is over. Your identity is resurfacing, and everything connected to the old version of you is either shifting or breaking apart. That's why you feel the tension. That's why you feel the discomfort. Identity shifts feel like losing interest in what you once tolerated, outgrowing environments you once settled in, feeling different even around familiar faces, caring less about being liked and more about being aligned. Choosing peace over validation, choosing purpose over pleasure, choosing truth over comfort. And God is saying, you're not changing, you're returning. Returning to clarity, returning to strength, returning to confidence, returning to spiritual authority, returning to the identity I gave you long before life wounded you. See, listen closely. Your new identity is intimidating to your old connections. Not because you're better than them, but because this version of you forces people to face the parts of themselves they've been avoiding. Your presence exposes their insecurity. Your growth exposes their stagnation. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your boundaries expose their entitlement. Your purpose exposes their comfort zones. This is why you've met resistance. This is why some people started acting strange. This is why certain relationships feel tense. This is why some people pulled back the moment you stepped forward. They cannot connect to a version of you that no longer exists. Chosen One, type 777. Again, if you've been feeling this in your life. Now let's go deeper. Identity shifts require God to remove anything that threatens the integrity of your next level. This is why He took away your tendency to explain yourself, your need for approval, your attachment to old habits, your commitment to outdated selves, your willingness to shrink, your fear of being seen, your fear of being misunderstood, your fear of standing alone. because the identity He's calling you into cannot partner with fear. Hear this. Your next level requires a version of you who is unapologetic about who you are becoming. And that is exactly the version God is activating. This version of you walks with discernment, moves with intention, speaks with clarity, feels without drowning, chooses without hesitation, sees without being deceived, loves without losing yourself, forgives without giving access, heals without carrying the weight alone. This is spiritual adulthood. This is identity ascension. This is transformation that cannot be undone, and the world around you is already responding to it. You may notice people staring at you longer, people becoming intimidated without reason, people becoming drawn to your energy, people projecting their insecurities onto you, people sensing something different even if you say nothing. Because when identity ascends, presence intensifies, your aura shifts, your spirit expands, your energy strengthens, your atmosphere changes, and God says, this is only the beginning of who you are becoming. Hit like right now to stay aligned with this shift, and subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones walking through the same awakening. Part 10 will reveal what God is building in this new identity, and why the world needs the version of you He is awakening right now. No ending, no summary. We continue.